Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at BlackShades. BlackShades is a 32-bit Trojan which affects modern Windows operating systems. And if we take a look at it over here in VirusTotal, we can see that it has 54 out of 72 detections. If we go to details, we can see that this was first submitted today. So the fact it has so many detections is pretty bad for the malware writer. And as we go along, you will see that this is probably the most sophisticated piece of malware that has ever existed. So as you can see, the uploaded name is Kuso Crypter, not Crypter, Crypter. Last analyzed 13 minutes ago by yours truly. Popular threat label is MSAL/password stealer A. These are generic labels. And if we go through here, we'll take a look at the big names that are detecting it, because usually on this, when there's this many detections, I'd take a look at who's not. However, there is something very interesting with this one, with who's detecting it, that I thought you guys might like to see. So we'll look for any big names. We've got Avast, AVG, get the fuck out of here, Avira, Bitdefender, and if we keep going, yeah, CrowdStrike Falcon's big enough, I guess. MCSoft, ESET, GData, Google, good. Let's see. Kaspersky, Malwarebytes, Microsoft. I was about to say I'm not seeing Microsoft here. Surprisingly, it's not that one weird generic detection that they assign to literally every Trojan under the sun. Symantec is here. I don't see McAfee, which is interesting. But what is interesting as well is Webroot has a detection. Now, you may have noticed something if you've been paying attention, a name that I did not repeat. It's one pretty common on the channel. BCAF Pro doesn't have a detection for it, which is really weird because they've detected everything except for like 4 detections on this channel, and all 4 of those malware samples, were like detected by nobody else either. So that's a first for them. And then if we want to take a look at the big names that aren't detecting it, there's BCAF Pro, ClamAV is big enough, Palo Alto Networks, and that's about it. Really, all the big names except for BCAF Pro and maybe Palo Alto are detecting it, so that's good. Tags for the video: portable executable, check CPU name, persistence, calls WMI, long sleeps, detect debug environment, assembly, and checks user input. If we go to details, here's your MD5, SHA-1, and SHA-256 for the video. Creation time was November 25th of last year. I don't believe that for a second. It was also uploaded under server.exe, kusocrypter.exe, which is what we have, and then a random string, most likely off of a malware repository. We go to relations. There's one contacted URL, freegeoip.net, which is always good. I think you can assume what that does by the name. 5 contacted domains, an Amazon Web Service, globalaccelerator.com. Okay. Free GeoIP, greataggie2.linkpc.net. I would like to visit these websites towards the end of the video because they seem very interesting to me. We do have 12 contacted IP addresses. 2 of them have detections. One is out of the United States. This one's also out of the United States. But we have one with no detections, which is actually out of Nigeria, which I believe is the first time we've seen Nigerian malware on the channel. It doesn't mean that the malware author is in Nigeria. It could be contacted for a completely different reason, I guess, but kind of doubt it. So I'm just going to make that assumption anyway. 3 execution parents. We have server.exe, random string, and then pending order on tas.vbs. Okay. Whatever. Again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you don't want to follow along on your own and you want to see it, now's your chance to do so. Surprisingly, very few IDS and Sigma rules, but we do have 2 sandbox detections, Zenbox and Yummy Hunter flag it as malware. And if we shut up, and if we come down, we have 2 medium crowdsourced Sigma rules, and 1 medium and 1 low crowdsourced IDS rule. Finally, if we go to community, only Joe Security has been on this one. Malicious verdict of 88, BlackShades domains are here, and there you go. So next we'll take a look at the tools we'll be using to analyze this malware. We have System Informer, which I'll go ahead and prepare now. There we go. Process Monitor, Wireshark, which needs to be over here, and Zooey. So I will go ahead and stop the packet capture. And we are going to reset the process capture for process monitor. We'll go ahead and start a new packet capture. Thank you, Windows Update. I love you filling my Wireshark with 5 bajillion packets. I'm really going to love having to sift through that. Again, I mentioned this on another video, but Windows Update is supposed to be disabled until April 19th, but it's still doing this anyway. I think it's almost done, though, so it won't matter too much. And I will go ahead and move Zooey about in the middle. That's fine. And without any further ado, let's run the malware. Oh, wait, one thing I forgot to do. Let's look at the properties. If you go to the details for this, this is surprisingly detailed. File description, Windows sidebar. Okay. File version and product version look eerily realistic. Product name is Windows version operating system. Or, what the hell did I just say? Microsoft Windows operating system. Now, there's supposed to be like a registered trademark symbol in there. There's not, but I mean, your average user is not going to, connect that. And then copyright Microsoft Corporation, all rights reserved. It looks like it's spelled right. So yeah, I mean, Kuso Crepitter, that's obviously malware to the trained eye, and then this is just a huge mismatch, but whatever. It should also be noted that I had to install Microsoft.NET 2.0 and 3.5 just to run the malware. So again, very, very sophisticated. But now we can go ahead and run the malware. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure, why not? We click yes, and immediately you can see it run down here as Kuso Crepitter, but it doesn't do much graphically. However, once we scroll up, we can see things starting to change. It's not doing it. Why are we not doing it? Okay. What it was doing last time is it was opening under, I think it was this specific service host, it was opening engine and engine task. It may be doing that hidden now, though. So we go ahead and open this in process monitor. We're going to do 2 filters. The first filter that we're going to do is Kuso Crepitter.exe as the process name. And then as the operation, we're going to do create file. It's really weird that it didn't do that this time. Again, it's just another example of malware never doing what it does in testing. If we scroll up, yeah, it's just not there. Don't know why, but whatever. I expanded the wrong thing. Let's move that to about here and expand the path. There we go. Alright, and as you can see, we got the prefetch up top. It looks like it was deleted, unfortunately. If we scroll down, we immediately get evidence that this was made in assembly. Again, if you don't use VirusTotal, you're going to have to use context clues. First thing I see is Microsoft.NET, and as we scroll through, I'm sure we're going to see things like local GAC and Fusion as well. But if we keep going, we've got some DLLs that come with the device. So not going to pay much attention to those. However, what we do see down here is we see security.config and enterprisesec.config. And this is probably being used to see if you're running Windows Enterprise Edition. This is Windows 10 Pro, but that's probably why it's not finding the name, is because this is an Enterprise. But we got CLR security config. So we go past that. It's calling its own process again. Then it's using system Windows forms. That's fine. And now we can see that it has accessed the startup directory. So as we saw in the tags for VirusTotal, it did say that this has persistence. So here's another piece of evidence of that. And again, we'll restart the computer at the end just to see if that is the case or not. And we keep going through here. We see server.exe. So it's an app data roaming server and server.exe. Now, if we jump to this, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Firefox as a window. We're going to go ahead and move it over here, and we can see that it is the exact same thing. Same file size, same everything. And you may have also been able to notice that from details when server was one of the names. Don't know why it names itself like server in here. I mean, I guess. At least it didn't name itself like Ooper, super scary, sexy malware 2025 or whatever. But, I mean, really? So we'll go ahead and full screen that again. And if we keep going, we should see, well, that would be towards the bottom, but we're there almost already. It is pulling some custom DLLs now. DHCP service 6.dll. Let's see, we've got, okay, that's standard. We've got PNR PNSP, NAPI NSP, NLA API.dll. So these are all custom. WBEM procs, and we should have seen that it, oh, it's down here. Okay. Now we see that it is disabling Windows Defender, because modifying this DLL is used to disable it. Joke's on you, I already have it disabled. And then as we get closer to the bottom, that's also a custom TLB file. Okay, I'm not even entirely sure what that is. But then we've got GAC64 custom marshallers. And if we try to go to that, we have a custom marshallers.dll. If we go up, it's just this folder. So this is custom with the malware. And if we want to open it, I'm not going to spend much time on it. But I will slowly skim through this, and if you want to pause at any point, that will be your chance to do so. I may also point out a few things. We'll see. When are we going to get to clear text? Because I did open this in testing. Yeah, here we go. System resources, resource reader, MS Core Lib, version 2.0, culture neutral, public T-token. There's more than that. If we keep going, yeah, here we go. You can see the things that it's doing. Looks like a PowerShell script, but I'm not going to spend much time on it, because if we read every single DLL, this video would be 4 hours long. And there's really just not that much that's interesting in here, because you can see everything graphically in Process Monitor anyway. But as you can see, once it does call that, it is now creating a text file in roaming, which is the computer user.txt. Now what it's actually doing, if we open this, we can see it starts with 0p/v/this, and I believe that it always drops this every single time the text file is created by the malware. However, it's not actually creating and deleting this. What it's actually doing, so as you can see, we've got JTSA ==. Now if we go ahead and reopen the text file, because this updates every 2 or 3 seconds, I believe, we will now scroll to the end, and we can see that it has been replaced by 3O=. So what it's doing is it's actually appending information to the end of this text file every 2 to 3 minutes. It's not deleting and recreating one, just to mess with your CPU or anything. It is actually appending information to the end. So, I mean, if we look at showing, it does this. I thought it did it more frequently than that, but it looks like it's doing it maybe every 10 seconds. Okay, I might have been a little wrong with the time. Well, that time it only took 5 seconds, so maybe it's a random interval. I don't know. I also don't care. But we can go ahead and minimize that. We're done with it now. If we go over to Wireshark, we will go ahead and stop this packet capture. We'll save it as 1.pcap. We'll start a new one just in case. We'll go to ZUI, import data, documents, and then we'll let it parse through that. And now I want to take a look at those websites. So if we go to relations, we do have these 3, well, these 2. I already know what FreeGeoIP does. I'm going to try to connect to these directly, because obviously the vast majority of the time nothing happens. It either prevents it or says it can't be connected to, blah, blah, blah. But crazier things have happened on the channel. So we'll hit enter for this globalaccelerator.com, and we've got a landing page. It says it is parked courtesy of GoDaddy.com. Interesting. I doubt it's down, because this was first submitted today, but I guess anything's possible. What just closed? Oh, the Outlook thing updated again. All right, well, then we'll try greataggie2.linkpc.net. This may be, what I'm thinking it does is like a remote access tool. Link PC, come on, hello. And it doesn't look like it's actually going to let us connect. So if we look up Link PC, what if I just do linkpc.net? Kainai's Women's Wellness Lodge. What? Okay. That's interesting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that. So in this case, we'll use abuse IPDB and whois instead. And we'll let this try to keep connecting, but I already know it's either going to time out or refuse. So we'll try this. It was not found in their database. I need the IP address, dumbass. Well, this is the IP address. Surprisingly, no complaints. So now if we go to whois and try it again, client transfer prohibited. Very interesting. So we're not actually able to pull anything up about linkpc.net. It's really weird because, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off the screen capture, and then I'm going to open the website. Okay, and we just get this page. So it says, please visit dnsexit.com instead. So I'm going to try that again, turning, oh, actually, it, right as I was going to click, as you can see, I still had the right-click tab open. It actually redirected us on its own. This is a very strange looking DNS service provider. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and try this instead. So if we go over here, that's not what I just copied. Hello. Let's try that. So no complaints. And if we actually try to pull it up in whois, it still is prohibiting any information. That is always done by very shady and or scummy companies. Free dynamic and enterprise DNS services. Also, I feel like I should mention this again. Don't go harassing any of the people on any of these websites. Don't do it. I'm not responsible if you get arrested because you felt cocky for some reason. So now it's saying the most completed email solutions for your businesses. I really just want to know where this is hosted out of. Because, I mean, I can look at this and you can immediately tell this isn't American. Okay, it took too long to respond. This may be the Nigerian website, because as we did see, we had, a Nigerian IP address. As a matter of fact, if I try to put that in abuse IPDB, no? We can see it's out of Lagos, which I think is the capital? Don't quote me on that. Airtel Nigeria. Adebayo Juba, don't go harassing them. Okay, this isn't telling me anything. But it's really weird that it redirects to this, because we went to link PC, and then we just get this splash page, which was made in like 2 minutes, and it says, please visit https.dnsexit.com. And notice that this is in HTTP, and then even if we don't click on it, it redirects. I'm not going to look through this on this video. I may do this in a live stream, but as of right now, that's just what it redirects to. So last thing before we restart the computer, we will go ahead and pull up Zooey. So we'll query the pool. We can go ahead and stop the process capture for that. And we have 548 rows. So immediately, God, I was about to say this will give us enough time to look through everything thoroughly. However, immediately there's an alert too. And this is probably GeoIP. No, ET info observed DNS query to din DNS domain linkpc.net. Category potentially bad traffic. Action allowed. So linkpc is already flagged as a potentially bad domain. And this is the same thing, okay. I wonder if we're going to get any alert 1s for potential C2 traffic. Crazier things have happened, but it looks like all of these alert 2s that we're getting are for linkpc.net. Now this is probably Suricata, and it is, so. This notice is probably Microsoft, yep. That is Microsoft not keeping their own certificates updated. ET info observed DNS query to DNS again. I'm sure it's the same thing. Indeed it is. I'm not even going to look at the notices. Okay, and I might just stop looking at the alert 2s altogether. because it's just going to keep saying the same stuff. Okay, so we'll... Oh, this one has 2 back-to-back. And it's still the same thing. Okay. Any alert 3s or alert 1s will check out, but the only thing... Yeah, the only thing it picked up on was the linkpc.net. Oh, no, here we go. So, at the very end, we've got free G... This is a poorly spelled rule. Because instead of free GOIP, they have free GIOP. So that's pretty funny. It doesn't hurt anything, because basically the rule info you put in is kind of like a comment in code. It doesn't matter what you put here. It could say ET info, external IP lookup domain, cockandballs.com. It's still going to work. But, you know, free GOIP. And then the rest of these were just link PC. So nothing that immediately just points out, hey, there's C2 activity detected. But if we look at Wireshark, we do have a bunch of traffic to a 105. Okay. Now, was that one of the VPNs? Yes, it was one of the detections. And surprisingly, that is the one that was out of Nigeria, which is the one I was interested in. You know what? Before we restart, this probably won't work. I have no idea why it would, but... Okay, yeah, it's just gonna say connection refused or connection failed or whatever, timed out. It would at least, you know, start loading the web page right now if it was going to, no matter where it was from. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and restart the computer now, just to see if there is persistence, and then we will end out the video. Oh, big stretching time. Oh, God. Also, could anybody let me know why it takes like 15 to 20 minutes to download Microsoft.NET Framework utilities? Because it does that on my host and in this VM and like every other computer I've ever used. So I know it's not just me. But if we pull this up, we've got a console host running. That's not necessarily malicious on its own. However, if we get a few more minutes, we now see server.exe is running in the background. And it's running under Explorer. So I wonder now if it's going to do any of the stuff and things that it was doing up here, like engine task. I don't see anything else running. So it looks like this is just another case of malware getting in one last hurrah by making me look like a frickin' fool. But either way, we have determined that this does have persistence. It's running in the background, not using much CPU, so if you're not looking for it, it's not noticeable. And I wonder really quick, if we open Task Manager, will it show up in here? It didn't close out when we did open Task Manager. And if I look through here, I don't see server, so it may not show up in Task Manager, but I also may have just gone right past it. So I'm going to look one more time. No, I'm not actually seeing it. So whatever it's doing is making itself hidden from the Task Manager, which is very interesting. But this is why I don't use Task Manager and instead use System Informer and Process Monitor. Either way, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy the video and Agent Smith's face and forehead, please make sure to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.